everyone, welcome to Facebook Live. I'm Jill Hudson, one of the OCALICON coordinators, and we're here with you today to answer some questions about the call for proposals. So I'm here with two of my colleagues. You guys want to introduce yourselves?
Sure. I'm Simon Buer. I'm the Conference and Events Manager for OCALI. We're really excited to get your questions today, so get your fingers ready and start sending them in.
Hi, I'm Laura Spikas, and I support the conference, primarily registration and CEUs.
So as Simon alluded to, then yes, you'll see the chat box and you can type in your questions, and we are watching that live as we go. We'd be glad to brainstorm with you or help clarify any questions that you have about the proposal process. But to get us started, we have some questions that have been coming in through our emails or through the social media and the hashtag, so we are just going to start with a couple of those. We know that the first thing that you need to do is make sure you have your OCALI Pass account and then get your credentials in there and updated. And so this question we're getting a lot, and I'm going to send it over here to Laura. Laura, the email question is, what if I don't have a resume? How much information do you actually need on this?
Well, that's a very good question. Many CEU boards require resumes, but they're really looking for the credential and the degree and any affiliations that you might have. They need that information so they can kind of see are you prepared to make a presentation on this topic? They want to know what kind of background you have and what kind of qualifications you have.
That's great. So it can be abbreviated or it can be multiple pages, but we just want to know a little bit more about who you are and why you're qualified. Perfect.
Yep. Well, I've got another question here. How much information does someone need to include in the abstract?
You mean the character amount?
Well, let's see.
Here's the question. So the abstract is really a summation of your entire proposal. It's really the main part, I guess, of your proposal that attendees will see if your proposal is accepted. It's what they'll use to decide if they actually want to come and attend your session. So you're going to give us some information about really the content, what is it that you're presenting on, but maybe anything that makes your session stand apart, or if there's something fancy or special in the way that you're leading an activity or how you're going to present your information, you can put that in there as well.
Well, and the abstracts are what we print, right? That's what we publish. So when attendees are with us in the fall, they basically get two bits of information. They get your title for your session, and then they get your abstract. And so from those combined elements, I decide whether or not I want to actually come to your session. So your abstract, I think, can include not only a description of what you're going to be doing, but also kind of think of it as your sales pitch, right? Mm-hmm. You really want to entice someone to be in your session, because your session is scheduled at the same time as other sessions. And so how do you make sure that you're connecting with the people that need to be in your session? So kind of think about that when you're developing your abstract.
That's a great point, Simon. Also, we looked through the requirements a couple weeks ago on our Tip Tuesday, and you can choose who is your targeted audience. But if there's a specific group that you're hoping will attend, you can mention that in your abstract. Be specific about that. Or if you hope that it is a couple of different types of audiences and you really want to have a nice mix, help the attendees know that they're the ones that you hope join them.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
If you're having a discussion, if you're submitting a facilitated discussion, you may want to talk about some of the questions or points or ideas that you'll be exploring. So that would be another way to really entice people to want to be a part and to want to participate in your session as well. All right, we're checking the chat so far to see if any additional questions have come in. While we're waiting on that, here's another one that we get a lot. When I submitted my proposal, I got an error about the punctuation that I was using, but I'd only used an apostrophe and a period as in my submission. So why am I getting an error? It's just an apostrophe and a period. Well, a lot of times, and we encourage everyone to do this, to actually, because your submission form will time out. So we do encourage, what do we have, 60 minutes?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So we encourage everyone to initially develop their proposal in an offline format, whether that would be like a Microsoft Word, or if you use a notebook or any other kind of like offline form, you can really build your proposal in that. And then the simple thing is to copy and paste your responses into the online form. Now, when that happens, sometimes there are what we call invisible characters that you can't even see. If you if you copy and paste a selection from Microsoft Word and you put it into our submission form, sometimes there's characters included in there that you don't actually see, but that are there nonetheless. And so an easy way to frequently fix this error is if you go into the form in the proposal, in the online proposal, delete the character that you originally created in Microsoft Word or whatever offline program you're using, and then just retype that character. So if it's a comma, for example, or an apostrophe, or a period, delete, click it again, and then try. And oftentimes that will delete whatever those hidden characters are, and then enable you to move forward with the process.
That's great. And if you continue to get multiple errors, because even when you delete the character, it for some reason is still giving you an error, then just know that we also will go back through and review all of the objectives as well, make sure they all have a period, that the apostrophes are added back in, so you can just delete it out. But try exactly what Simon's saying, to delete it and then add it back in and see. So good luck. How about this question then? So Simon alluded to, you get 60 minutes to submit your session, but how can somebody be certain that we have actually received their proposal in the system? This is a great question, and it's also a sad question, because the great response is when your proposal has been successfully submitted, you receive a confirmation email.
And a unicorn gets its wings. Both of those things happen.
If you submit a proposal and you walk away and you don't receive a confirmation email, that's the sad part. That means we did not actually receive your proposal. So be sure that you double check that when you hit the submit button, right there on the screen it will let you know, and then also immediately it will be in your email that we will have successfully received your proposal. And in that email, it also gives you that 4-digit proposal ID. That means you're officially logged in our system. So if you think you've submitted, maybe it gives you a few errors, no problem. Review those, go back in, make your corrections, hit submit again, and then check your email. If for some reason you time out, or like we've said before, you spill coffee on the computer because it's so early in the morning when you're up early and putting in your proposal, or whatever happens, the cat comes across and closes your screen down, that's why we also want to encourage you to go ahead and have it written out in advance in a Word document or in some offline format, so that way you can come back in, resubmit it, and then be sure that you've received that confirmation email with your 4-digit proposal ID. Another question?
Okay. We get another question, Laura?
Okay, we've got one right here.
Right on.
So I'm just going to read it straight from Christy. I feel like I have a lot more details and specific procedures I would be covering in my presentation. However, the proposal limits around 250 words per question. This is the first time I am submitting a proposal to OCALI. I want to make sure you are simply looking for a summary and overall info on the subject matter.
Well, thanks for your submission, Chrissy. We're excited to have you participate in the process. And we do, you're right, that we do have a number of character limits for each section, and so we try to encourage folks to be as thoughtful as possible when you're formulating your responses to each. As many details as you can provide, as many examples, data, if you have data points to share, all of that information is really helpful to a reviewer. If you want to put yourself in the mindset of a reviewer, they likely have never met you and perhaps have never heard of you or your particular topic. So whatever you can do to paint the picture with details, information, and it sounds like you may be having trouble fitting in all that you want to fit in. So it may just be you may just need to prioritize what you're trying to share, and maybe this could also be a conversation with a colleague or a friend, or maybe even a family member. Help if you need to talk through and maybe try to figure out, what is it that would be the most helpful or the most relevant or the most important ideas that I should include here. And maybe that would help you kind of figure out what to include and maybe what to leave out.
That's great. And I think also, we know in the session description there are those 10 individual questions. And we try to hit at different degrees or different angles of what you might be presenting. So not just what is the content or the information. We assume or hope that you know the content that you're talking about, but help us, like Simon said, envision how it might come across in your particular presentation. So what examples are you using that help our audience better understand your information, or what research, like he said, is the most relevant to you, or how are you most going to engage your audience? And that helps our reviewers know not just that you understand your own content, but how you'll be able to deliver it to the others. Something else, we've received this question quite a few times when somebody says they have a lot of content and they're not sure they can even present it in 75 minutes, and are there any longer sessions available, or what should they do? So in case that is also what you're kind of asking here as well, is really think about what do you think you can present in 75 minutes. And so it might be that you want to submit 2 or 3 different proposals. So think about the components that you're really trying to convey. And in 75 minutes, how much information can you give? Is it an overview of a lot of things, or is it a deeper dive into maybe 1 or 2 specific items? And so you're welcome to submit a couple of different proposals to help us better understand if you have a lot of information to share on a variety of topics. Great question. Thanks for sending it in.
Yeah. We look forward to getting your proposal. We got another one, Laura?
Okay, here's a good one. Okay. When will presenters find out if they have been accepted?
Great.
Took away the answer. Yeah, so the submission deadline is a week from today. So 7 more days left to get your proposal submitted to us. And then basically what happens from there in the process is we go through a pretty rigorous review process. Rigorous in terms of we have over 40, I believe, reviewers typically, 40 to 50?
At least.
Okay,
yes.
Sometimes more than that. So each proposal is reviewed by 3 different reviewers.
Yes.
And will be scored by 3 different independent reviewers. And so we need to build in some time for that. So that takes place throughout the month of April. And then in May, we continue to kind of go over everything, because we do get so many different proposals, and we're trying to create such a balanced event that brings in lots of different topics, lots of different perspectives, that it really becomes pretty much a 2-month process to go through the review and selection. But you will, as a presenter, receive notification in early June. So we like to try to let folks know during that first week of June. So by June the 7th,
which happens to be my birthday.
Yeah, Laura's birthday, which is why she kept pointing it out. Yes, Laura. We've got your gift already. Don't worry.
Cupcakes all around.
But you'll know. So if you are a school teacher, usually it's right before the end of the school year, although they keep moving that even earlier and earlier. So it's hard to know. But anyway, the first week of June is when you'll find out. And if you are the primary presenter, you'll receive notice, and we ask that then you let your co-presenters know as well as soon as you find out.
Right. Be sure you pass that information along, because we often receive emails from co-presenters that they had not heard anything yet. So be sure you double check as the primary presenter, and then forward that excellent, very exciting news onto your co-presenters as well. Great. Yes, way to go. Here it is.
Oh goodness. Do presenters need to register and pay, or do they get to attend for free?
Well, presenters get to attend at a special reduced rate, and what that allows you to do. So first of all, it's $50. This is for anyone who presents, whether you are there for the entire conference. So the great news is you get to attend OCALICON for the entire 2.5 days of the event. And it's at a much discounted rate compared to what a standard attendee pays for that same experience. So again, it's $50, and that's whether you are with us for the entire conference, which we hope you do, or if you're only able to stay for a day, or even if you're only able to deliver your session and need to get back to the office. It may be a good time to kind of rethink that and have a conversation with your supervisor or director.
Or have them call Simon.
Right, or I'm welcome. Yeah, absolutely. Give me a call. But we'd love to have you participate, not just as a presenter, but as an attendee. We'd like you to be able to take advantage. I mean, we have people coming from all across the country and several other countries as well. So it's a great opportunity for you to network with your peers and your colleagues from all over. And so if you can carve out time, we're all incredibly busy people, absolutely professionals, family members. But I just came out of a webinar in which we were given permission to do things for ourselves. And so I'm going to extend that same sentiment to you, our loyal viewer, to also say that this is a perfect opportunity for you to make time and really invest in yourself, because when you attend OCALICON, it's not just something that you're doing for others, but you're doing it for yourself as well. So it's a great opportunity to be able to take advantage of that and build your network, build your professional portfolio. And maybe, if nothing else, have a very deep and meaningful conversation with someone that you've never met before.
Yes, and I'm just thinking also, don't forget that we have the most amazing hot chocolate. So you're going to want to be sure you stay for that as well.
At least.
It's
hot
in the
chocolate.
get a cup of that. So I'm thinking of this question now, like, oh no, we only have 1 week left until call for proposals are due. 7, or maybe if you consider the rest of today, 8 days left. It's too late. I don't have enough time. Well, rest assured, the proposals are rolling in. They've definitely continued to increase over these last couple of days, but we know a lot more are coming over the next week. So you are in great company. There are a lot of people that'll be out there tonight and this weekend putting in their OCALI Pass, updating their credentials. Don't forget, you can go ahead and do that today, right now, and get those set as you're completing and finalizing your proposal. And then log in anytime between now and next Wednesday and put that proposal in. We really are looking forward to seeing what you guys have to say. We know there's so much good information out there. You guys are doing a great job at schools and with their early childhood out there in the land of transition and employment, and we want to hear from you. We really love that there are proposals that come in, like Simon said, from across the nation, from around the world, and we are looking forward to sifting through those and creating a great schedule for you guys. So any other questions y'all can think of, or anything else coming in through the chat? Okay, well, just as a reminder, we are here for you in these next 7.5 days to support you. So like we've mentioned before, obviously here we are on our social media OCALICON Facebook group page, and we also have an OCALI page on Facebook. We're also on Twitter and on Instagram, both at OCALI Official. So you can leave us your questions there and keep using the hashtag OCALICON 2019. It's the quickest way to get a response. We check that all the time, all day, every day. Isn't everyone always on their social media? So send us your questions there. It's probably a question that somebody else also has. Or feel free to email us here. And we'll be glad to be in touch with you, answer as many questions as we can, and help you guys get your proposals in.
Sounds great. Yeah, thanks everybody. Again, your deadline is a week from today, so you still have time to get everything ready, but you're quickly running out. So, and we will not extend the deadline. That's also a question that we sometimes get. So March 27th is and always will be March 27th, and it is and always will be our deadline for proposals. So get them in. We can't wait to review them, and we look forward to seeing you this fall at OCALICON 2019.
It's great. Thanks, guys.